Where is the mule? Might be the better question. The answer is already here.
Hey there, all of you rogue telepaths and robot lovers. We are back with another epic breakdown of Foundation Season 3, which is all about unlikely alliances, game-changing betrayals, and crucially, secret origins. Welcome back, ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy, and these are all the Easter eggs, references, and mind-bending twists in Foundation Season 3, Episode 6, The Shape of Time, and Episode 7, Foundation's End. Now, picking up from the cliffhanger of Episode 5, the first big callback in Episode 6 is all about Gaal learning that Demerzel is a robot, something that she actually hasn't known this entire time.
Wait, so this showdown is like two kinda immortal people both finding out they're still alive after 300 years?
That's right. Demerzel wasn't expecting to see Gaal alive, and as Demerzel says,
I assumed Dr. Selden informed you I was a robot. I see I was mistaken.
As Episode 6 unfolds, Demerzel and Gaal's confrontation reveals several callbacks to Foundation Season 1, starting with the bombshell that Harry Selden has always known that Demerzel was a robot and the true power behind the throne.
Harry knew you were a robot. How long did he know?
From the moment we met, he knew. I do not know how.
The whole time.
Gaal realizes that Harry wasn't making a case for Foundation to the Cleons, but instead appealing directly to Demerzel. Now this leads to a slightly bigger revelation, that Demerzel herself was part of the actual math that went into making the Selden plan work.
I guess you could say that Demerzel was foundational to the whole show.
Exactly, high five. Now, the future predicting math of psychohistory only works with massive amounts of data over long periods of time, meaning that a centuries-old robot was a key part of the plan, which has not been revealed until now. So now, Demerzel, in a way, is an Easter egg herself. The small flashback to the very first episode of the show, The Emperor's Peace, also features another fun Easter egg, science fiction legend Alexander Siddig playing Advocate Xylus. In Season 3, Siddig is back in the show, now playing a pro-Foundation descendant of Xylus named Ebling Miz. Now, speaking of Season 1 flashbacks, Gaal also reveals to Demerzel that not only does she have ESP powers, but that she can also see through time, something that was hinted at in Season 1 when Gaal remained awake during a jump controlled by the Spacers.
Wait, why would Demerzel even believe all this?
Well, that's a great question, and it's why Demerzel links her mind with Gaal's memories, which leads us to another basic truth about Gaal's future visions. She tells Demerzel she has to
Feel like I'm drowning. Like I can't breathe.
And this references Season 1 and the fact that Gaal is from the mostly water planet of Synax. Plus, the idea that almost drowning can trigger certain ESP and telepathic powers is a very big deal in Episode 7, as we will soon see. Demerzel's mind link with Gaal confirms that a big confrontation with the Mule is coming very soon, in just 4 months' time. Demerzel also figures out that the battle will happen in the ruins of the Imperial Library, a pivotal location for the start of the series and much of this season as well. Finally, Demerzel also figures out that the empty future that Gaal can't see beyond has a hidden Easter egg of its own, an infrasonic signature, which is actually a gravitational wave coming from a black hole.
Hey, there's been a bunch of stuff about black holes this season.
Yeah, that's right. Brother Dusk has his secret superweapon called the Navacula, first introduced in the second episode of Season 3, Shadows in the Math, and that weapon is a black hole bomb. A little bit of foreshadowing here, we will see. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Meanwhile, the other big development from Episode 6 is all about the vault finally opening on New Terminus and the hologram. Of note, people walk by a variety of flags on their way to the vault, which is of course an Easter egg to Season 1, in which getting to the vault was very hard because of Selden's null field, and each flag would indicate how far that person had gotten before they were knocked out. In this scene, the AI version of Harry Selden believes that he's just going to congratulate everybody on solving the third crisis, which is not the Mule.
Yeah, but the Mule is the big crisis of the season, right?
Yes, that's true, but the whole problem is that the original Selden plan had no way to account for the Mule. So when the hologram of Selden appears and congratulates the traitors and the Foundation on reuniting in peace, Torin Mallow points out that they're only doing it because they want to fight against the Mule. But this version of Selden doesn't know anything about the Mule. This is because he's only been pre-programmed with the classic Selden plan and not the souped-up second Foundation fight the Mule new Selden plan. So what is not a twist to the audience is a twist for AI Selden, who throws up that null field again and kicks out all of his loyal Foundation folks in a hurry. At the same time, the Mule does show up on New Terminus, and just like he did on Calgan, he makes the Foundation ships start opening fire on each other. So this takes us to Episode 7, ominously called Foundation's End.
Well, yeah, but the show's not going to end, right? Because they got like 3 more episodes left in the season.
Yes, but as the title suggests, episode 7 is a game changer for the show, partly because it reveals 2 secret origin stories. In Foundation's End, the backstories of both Brother Day, aka Cleon 24, and the Mule himself are fully revealed. Starting in episode 6, Day finds himself a captive in the Mycogen sector, where he learns that his lover Song probably never intended to stay with him because she already had a life partner, a woman named Seaglass. And in episode 7, Songbird and Seaglass use some mega strong spores to dive deep into Day's memory. Now this is all about wanting to learn if Demerzel is real, because Songbird and Seaglass belong to a robot worshipping cult called the Inheritance, and they note that if there is a synthetic life form on Trantor, it will be
The most important thing to happen to us in 5,000 years.
Now this comment is a reminder that the present tense of Foundation isn't just 300 years beyond season 1, but the basic status quo of the entire show has a prehistory that is also post-Earth. Day notes that one bit of ancient writing on the robot tools means Earth.
Those markings mean Earth.
So, in a sense, Earth itself is another Easter egg in this episode. Song and Seaglass make Day hallucinate in order to get to his deeper truth, and Seaglass says that
Some people think hallucination is what gave us consciousness in the first place.
when the Mycogen folks get Day super high, they learn what we already know, that Demerzel is an immortal robot. There's also an Easter egg quote from the first Brother Day in season 1 as we hear the line,
Respect and enjoy the peace.
But what we didn't know about his past is that when he was a little kid, this version of Day was super aware of the genetic drift and the way in which he and his brothers were inferior to previous versions of the Cleons. As a child, he asked Demerzel,
Are we worse than the ones before?
Now this is after he drops a napkin during a meal with his clone brothers. This is all an Easter egg for the genetic drift of the Cleons established back in season 1. In these flashbacks, we also get some deep cut references to Demerzel talking about previous names she's gone by, including Cheddar, Ito, and Daniil, all of which are shoutouts to the origin of the character and their various guises in Isaac Asimov's various books. Now, on top of all of this, we learn through Day's flashbacks that as a child, he really wanted to know if Demerzel would choose to love the Cleons even if she was granted her freedom. She also mentions that, if given the chance, she would
Make more creatures like me. More robots.
So one day, Demerzel's going to create a new robot army and wipe out all the Foundation and Empire?
Well, only if the Cleons were gone. As we learned in season 2, she was programmed by Cleon the First to take care of the dynasty, but that was not her original programming. So I mean, really, who knows? Let us know in the comments what your theories about Demerzel are. Could she ever break her programming and make more robots and overthrow humanity? And speaking of flashbacks, the biggest news in episode 7 is easily the massive story that seems to be telling the origin of the Mule. Starting with the flashback on a planet called Rossum, we're told that it's years before, but it's probably only about 30 or so years before because the Foundation is very powerful in sending ruthless assessors to an agricultural planet. Now, ironically or not, the Foundation is behaving like an empire here, complete with a very cruel one-child policy for the populations of some of its planets. Now, as the present tense siege of New Terminus unfolds, the episode gives us the entire story. As a child, the Mule's parents had a baby that they weren't supposed to have, meaning that either he or the baby had to be eliminated. The parents chose to try to kill him, which resulted in a horrific scene in which the Mule's dad tries to drown him in a river.
Oh yeah, it's like an Easter egg, the whole drowning thing.
Yes, because just like Gaal found her powers through almost drowning, the Mule is similar, an outlier mutant with powers of mental persuasion beyond reason. As we learned in season 2, the show calls these people mentalics, and the motif of kids almost getting killed and then having their powers manifest happened a lot. So in a sense, the Mule's origin story, as presented in this episode, isn't all that different.
Or is it?
Well, exactly. So right at the end of episode 7, Harry Seldon's AI hologram reappears, as we learn that the Mule has been telling his story to the vault itself. But Seldon replies with a chilling and very interesting response.
That's a very tragic story. I wonder how much of it is true.
We know from previous seasons of Foundation that false narratives can be placed in the minds of all sorts of people by the Mentalics. Gaal helped the human version of Harry do it in season 2 in order to defeat the evil Mentalic Tellum on the planet Ignis. So, is the Mule trying to plant a false memory in our minds? Or is his tragic backstory totally true? Based on what we know about the rules of Mentalics, Mule's origin story rings true and would explain his hatred for the Foundation. But is this actually the whole story? Guys, there are 3 more episodes in Foundation Season 3 after this, and plenty of time for more revelations and deeper and darker twists. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Is the Mule telling the truth? Is there a black hole coming in the future? And can Gaal get the plan back on track? Big shout out to Ryan Britt who wrote this episode. You can find his social links down below, and we are going to be back here for the finale to talk about the epic ending of this season and what's next for Season 4. So subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss a thing. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.